Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, July 12th, 2023, and this is the latest edition of Sports Talk Live with your host, myself, Nick Burt. Tonight, one of the emptiest days in the sports calendar, top four league-wise. None of them are playing. The MLB All-Star game was yesterday. They don't start up until Friday, I believe. They might have some games tomorrow. I don't know. I don't follow baseball close enough to know that detail. And then everything else, obviously, in their offseason. MLS has a ton of games tonight. And other than that, that's basically about it in the U.S. part of the world. But we have still found things to talk about, as we always do. And we might as well just get underway right now with one of those events that is technically going on right now. The CONCACAF Gold Cup has reached its semifinal stages. One of the semifinals is on right now. It is in the 67th minute. It is the USA versus Panama. It is still 0-0. It has been an interesting game, to say the least, so far. It's also not surprising so far, given the way the U.S. is playing this tournament, I'd say. If they're not playing a team that has like their population is half tourism, then they're not scoring much, and that's being shown very much tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. scores in the 85th, 86th, 87th minute, that area, because that's just what they seem to do now. That is a very much a tactic in Berhalter ball, which I feel has infiltrated this team, given it's mostly an MLS roster. So I think Burt, even though he's not coaching, he's very much pulling the strings here. BJ Callahan is mostly just a puppet right now, I believe, but that's my own opinion. Their game on Sunday night against Canada, or was that Saturday? No, that was Sunday night. Was a disaster class of CONCACAF, I'd say. It was just awful from basically start to finish. The two goals were they were CONCACAF goals, basically. You almost had a fight before the penalty shootout because there wasn't a coin toss or something. Then you had a standoff with them not standing on the halfway line before penalties. It just got really weird. But that's CONCACAF for you, so can't really say I'm surprised. So the U.S. sneaks by Canada on penalties. Meanwhile, Panama played on Saturday. They blew out Qatar, which wasn't totally surprising. Did surprise a little bit. I figured Qatar would have had a little bit more fight in them, but they obviously had a lot of people on suspensions due to yellow cards. So once again, not really surprised that Panama went through there. Panama's putting up a good fight right now. I know they mentioned on the broadcast for the U.S., Panama is the most played opponent in the Gold Cup, so it's not Mexico, it's not Canada, it's Panama. So it's somewhat a rivalry, even though it isn't really, but yeah. On the other side of the bracket, you have Mexico and Jamaica, who will be facing off later tonight in Las Vegas. What should be, hopefully, a thrilling game. A Mexican team that, yes, they're not truly amazing right now, but they still look quite good for being Mexico. They still have half an A team, I'd say. And then you got a Jamaica team that's got basically a full A team there, and they have looked amazing since their first game of this tournament against the United States, in a game that I still say they should have won. It was a very late goal, an 87th minute goal. Like I said, it's probably going to happen tonight. And I'm hoping for a good game in that one. It should be entertaining, given that these two teams seem kind of equal I'd say, and where their roster is right now. So I could easily see Jamaica winning this game. I can easily see Mexico winning this game. Is this a game for extra time? Very possibly. But I think it should be an enthralling game no matter what. Like I said, I think these are two of the most evenly matched teams in this knockout stage. And it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. So then the final will be on Sunday. That is in LA at SoFi Stadium. So technically Inglewood, but it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. We are currently in the hydration break. It's a hot day out in San Diego. Looks like they have a half full stadium at the Snapdragon, which you can't really blame them. Kickoff was at 4:36 local time, and the sun is still beating down. Who wants to go out and watch this, basically, is what I'd say. But yeah, I've been very impressed by the way Panama is playing right now. The U.S., it's what you expect, so I can't really say much about that. And yeah, I think the U.S. still somehow pulls this out, whether it be in normal time, extra time, penalties. I still think they make it, but I can easily see Panama winning this game also. I think Panama has shown off quite well in this game, so I wouldn't also be surprised if they make it through that. So given that, that's basically what's going on in the soccer world right now. A lot of transfers going on, but it's just a lot. The stories are changing, it seems, every hour. So when there is concrete information news, it will be talked about here. But for now, it's just rumors that 95% of them most likely won't come true. So there's no true point in discussing it, basically, unless it's something gigantic, but there isn't. So given that, we will move to NHL news and notes just really quick. Just one, it seems like the Erik Karlsson saga, I guess you would say, it is down to basically two teams from what it sounds like. It is either the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Carolina Hurricanes. Both teams I think he'd do really well on it, but also both teams, it's going to be interesting to see what they give up, given, the Erik Karlsson contract part of this, him coming off winning the Norris, and it's also like, how many prospects or draft picks do you truly want to give up? And I think that's a huge part in this. And I know the Penguins don't have a ton of assets, I'd say, so I don't know how they make this trade work at all. The Hurricanes have a little bit more, and their window's more open than the Penguins is, so I don't know why, he would want to go to Pittsburgh when I've said that the window has been closed for Pittsburgh since 2019, even though, they have star players. It's just they're on the backside of their careers, and it's just going to be tough to get back there, I'd say. I would, even though as a Pittsburgh fan, I'd love for him to play for the Penguins, I think he would be a better fit in Carolina right now. It seems like his days in San Jose are numbered. It doesn't seem like there's any coming back next year. So it looks like Erik Karlsson will be in a new sweater come next year. So given that, we'll move on to, I believe this is now the Week 5 edition, or post-Week 5 edition of the CFL Power Rankings. Here we go. Lot similar to last week. We're over here. Edmonton still at the bottom. Can't really say much right there. They looked good this week, I'll say that, but they didn't win, and it's going to be tough for them to move up no matter what. We have Hamilton and Ottawa switching spots, given that they played each other this week. Hamilton got the upper hand, and a huge setback for the Red Blacks. Jeremiah Masoli comes back from injury in this game, gets injured. It is a torn Achilles. He's out for the season. So absolutely terrible news for the Red Blacks and terrible for Masoli. Obviously, you don't want injuries like that quickly back to back. And I feel bad for the guy. He's worked very hard in this league. And, he's always been a really good QB. So given that, I feel like he's got more respect in this league than some other quarterbacks do. And I just kind of feel bad for him there. And then everything else stays the same. Everybody kind of did what they needed to do this week. Nobody did enough to move up or move down. So we still have Montreal at 6, Calgary at 5, Saskatchewan at 4, Winnipeg at 3, BC at 2, and Toronto at 1. Like I said, there wasn't a ton to move around this week. Saskatchewan could have possibly dropped just given their poor performance, but given that the other two teams below them lost, actually Calgary was on a bye, I believe, but Montreal lost. There was no real point in moving them, and Toronto, BC, and Winnipeg all did their job, so I didn't really see any room for them to move there, given that the rankings have stayed the same. So now we'll move back on to the court. We did this on Monday. We're moving back to the court today. The Wimbledon Semi-finals are set. We'll first take a look at the men's semi-finals. Quite a good-looking semi-finals, if you ask me. I think there's a lot of opportunities here for good matches. The first one, you got Carlos Alcaraz versus Daniil Medvedev. I think that's the better of the two semifinals. That has more of the this is going 5 sets feel to it. I still have to give Alcaraz the upper hand here. I think he's the better player here, but you can never rule out Medvedev. I'm excited to watch this match. I believe this is Friday. I don't know if it's the early or the late game, but it is Friday, so it should be an outstanding match no matter what. I like I said, I still think Alcaraz moves through and he goes on to the final. And then on the other side of the bracket, we have Novak Djokovic facing off against Jannik Sinner. I still think Djokovic wins this, probably 4 sets. I think Skinner wins at least a set, Skinner wins at least a set. But I just see Djokovic getting it done. The Joker does it again. I think he's still the favorite to win this in my eyes. I think he would have the upper hand against Alcaraz in the final. I think he'd have the upper hand against Medvedev in the final. Like I said, an Alcaraz-Djokovic final would be just absolutely outstanding. I think those two would put on an absolutely outstanding match. I would say probably 5 sets. And no, I won't say it will go down as like one of the best matches of all time, because it won't. But it will just be one of the, like, a match of the year type contender. It kind of has that feel to it. Now that I say this, either they won't make it to the final or they both make it to the final and it's a 3-set sweep. But like I said, I still think Djokovic has the upper hand here. I think he wins this game against Skinner. I think he wins the final, and I think he'd do it against Medvedev too. It's just he's on one of those streaks right now. He won Australia. He won France. So he's got 2 of the 4 of the crown for the year. So given that New York is coming up, late August, very late August, like last week of August, early September, it's going to be interesting no matter what happens on this side of the bracket. So given that, we'll take a look at the women's side. Few upsets, actually a lot of upsets, I'd say. 3 of the 4 higher ranked seeds lost. In the quarterfinals, you have Iga Swiatek lost to Inka Slitovina. You had Mariteta Vodaruska defeating Pegula. And then you have Ange Jabeur, who beat Raya Blanca. That match was earlier today. Like I said on Monday, that it was going to be a great match, and it turned out to be. So we end up with one side of the bracket, which this side is basically like the upset side. And then this side is your heavyweights, basically. So we'll take a look at the upset side first. You got Ikina Slitovina. Has put on 2 great performances in a row. I mean, it takes a lot to beat Azarenka and Swiatek in back-to-back matches in that fashion. So she's got something going for her right now. Is that going to lead to a title? We'll see. But like I said, it's kind of like in March Madness. If you get a team that's hot, they're just going to keep winning. She is that right now. Marteta Vodaruska just put on a great performance against Pegula. I mean, it went 3 sets. I think Pegula was up 4-1 in the 3rd set, and then Vodaruska comes back and wins the set 6-4. So she just got really hot at the end of that match. Even though it's like the upset bracket side, I'd say, I still think these 2 will put on a good match. I believe these are tomorrow. Should be interesting to see if, we have a 2-set sweep, or if we go the full 3 sets. I still think the other match is just going to be the better match. I think Ange Jabeur and Aryna Sabalenka is going to be the better match. I think those 2 will put on a great match. Most likely, in my mind, is 3 sets. I'm excited to watch this match. Just kind of like the other side, or the other bracket. The first game, you kind of have a feeling in. Or one of the games, I should say, you have a feeling in, and the other one, you don't know what's going to happen. You just know it's going to be a good match. That's going to be this side of the bracket. You don't know who's going to win it. It's just you know that it's going to be a good match. Now, given that, I did say that you got a good feeling on the other side of the bracket. So this side, I don't. I wouldn't be surprised if either go through. Obviously, that's not saying much. If I had to put money on somebody, it would be Slitovina. I think she's just playing better right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her go through. Plus, she just beat the number 1 female player in the world. So given that, I think she will go through to the final. And the other side, I really don't know who goes through it. If I have to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Sabalenka. But like I said, I can see either of these 2 going through. It should be interesting nonetheless. So given that, that's truly all the topics that we have today. We're in the 85th minute right now of the United States-Panama game. So we might as well just go until we reach the end of full time, the full 90. So just kind of give my thoughts right now, I guess. I mean, I already kind of did that, but might as well, do it again, because why not, as they say. Just figuring out some things here. A yellow card has just been given out to, I believe that is Miles Robinson of the U.S. Indeed it is. Borderline yellow, I'd say. I mean, it was nothing existential that would have been awful, but it wasn't anything either. It wasn't full cleat, so therefore, it shouldn't be a red, but still. So Panama have a free kick opportunity here. We'll see what they can do with this, as they are waiting for the free kick, I should say here. We're waiting for the referee's whistle. They're still waiting here. Not truly sure what's going on. Okay, it's kicked into the box, but it's headed back out. But Panama are still in possession. We're approaching the 87th minute right now. It's a turnover for Panama. There's a foul on Panama, goes to the U.S. So we await the free kick here. As you can see, we do have a nice score now up on there, I think, maybe. As the U.S. does have a corner opportunity here. We'll see if they can convert on this. There we go. Make it a little bit larger. We are in the 88th minute. Corner is taken, and that is just shot quite far above the net. It's going to be a goal kick for Panama. So it looks like it is another tactical type break here for both sides. Just, figuring out what the game plan is right now. We're approaching the 90th minute. We're about to find out how much stoppage time we are going to have. As we have crossed 90. We have crossed the 90th minute. It is going to be 5 additional minutes of stoppage time, as Panama has a player injured on the field. He's getting stretchered off. We'll see a substitution coming on for him. As we're already halfway through the first minute, I should say. So that's just going to be added on to the back half of this. Is we may not even get gameplay started until it's at least into the 92nd minute. As we do get gameplay restarted right before the 92nd minute. We have 90 minutes and 57 seconds on the clock right now. As Panama are just playing out the back right now, passing it around, trying to, figure stuff out. As that goes out of play, it's going to be a Panama throw-in as that was off the U.S. We are in the 92nd minute now. It is 91-22 on the clock here in San Diego. As Panama throw the ball in, was a good opportunity there, but that just gets kicked out of play once again by the United States. And Panama takes this throwing quickly. It's another deflection there by the U.S., but Panama do end up with the ball. They're on the far side. And that goes out of play. And it's going to be a corner kick for Panama here as we just crossed the 93rd minute threshold. 92:05 on the clock. Dangerous opportunity here for Panama. If they get a goal here, it's almost certain that it will be the game winner. So this is going to be an interesting challenge here. As we await the corner kick. Panama's third corner on the game. The United States only has 2, so just about even. As corner is taken, nobody gets their head on it. It dances around the box, and it is kicked out by the United States, but Panama do end up with it. Oh, Panama have a good opportunity here, and it is in the back of the net. Oh, but it is offsides. It is offsides. Panama had an outstanding opportunity right there. Just a fraction out of offsides. Looks like the ref is potentially reviewing for a handball on the first corner kick before the offsides goal went in. And yes, Panama had at least 4 players offsides there. It's their second goal today that was offsides. And that ball may have just glanced off a United States hand on the corner. The ref is still taking a look at it here. This is VAR at its finest. 93:42 on the clock. We are awaiting the referee's decision on VAR here. We got a lot of U.S. players surrounding the referee right now and like 2 Panama players. Now it's going to become 3. Still waiting. You got to believe if it's taking this long, they are taking quite a long look at this. 95th minute has been started. It is 94:15 on the clock as we continue to count up here. The ref is now just walking around, pondering life, it seems, as he listens to the people in the VAR room. So we are still awaiting a final decision here. And it does not look like it is. The ref has blown the whistle. No handball. We will continue to play on here. It did look like the ball glanced off like this part of the hand while he was reaching back. It was probably right about here and it just glanced it. So, I mean, that doesn't mean a ton, but I mean, still. It was worth a shot, I'd say. I don't know how that just happened, but whatever. and it crosses into the box. For the U.S., it's kicked out by Panama. Panama kick it out of play. It's going to be a dangerous throw-in opportunity for the U.S. here as we are in the 96th minute. The full-time whistle probably not coming soon, like soon as in any second now, given that it did take them 40 seconds to even start this stoppage time, and then we had the VAR check that lasted almost 2 minutes, and Panama are on the counterattack here. Panama get a good opportunity once again. Can they control the ball? It's in the box. Crossed, but just can't get a head on it, and it just goes to the far side of the field, and we are now in the 97th minute. It's still 0-0 here in San Diego, as the U.S. possibly their last opportunity before possible, most likely extra time, unless they can absolutely steal a goal here. Free kick opportunity just outside the box for the U.S. We're at 96:30. We are in the 97th minute. A foul on Panama gives the United States a free kick opportunity here, right probably about 5 yards outside the box. Most likely, I'd say, last real opportunity of this half. If it's not converted here, we are most likely headed to extra time. We are awaiting the referee to set everything up for this free kick opportunity. Panama will be building a wall just right on the outskirts of the box, so that kind of gives you an idea of where this free kick is being taken from. So we're still waiting the ref's whistle here. Does signal play on. We await this free kick. The free kick goes into the box. It's headed straight out by Panama. And there is the full-time whistle. It is still 0-0. We are going to extra time in San Diego. But given that, we will be signing off for tonight. Not much else to talk about. There's no true point in me staying for this extra 30 minutes just for you to listen to my poor commentary. So given that it's going to be it for tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed this interesting edition, I'd say, of Sports Talk Live. We'll be back on Friday. I'm sure there will be something to talk about hopefully by then. We'll have Wimbledon finals to preview. We'll have a Gold Cup final to preview. We'll make something of it. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. If you stumbled across this video, like and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you back here on Friday.